Brother Kadash,
to Brother Kunah,
giving all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders. Peace, blessings, and honors to all the brothers in this truth. This is Esau releases a new killer drug. Watch this video and then we're going to cook on it.
A new warning tonight from the Pasco County Sheriff's Office about a synthetic drug said to be 20 times more potent than the already very deadly fentanyl. It comes after a pair of deaths were linked to the drug deputies call ISO. Fox 13's Josh Cassio was following this story and explains why it has the Sheriff's Office so very concerned.
Well, they're very concerned because right now, at this point, this stuff can only be detected in a lab setting, which means people may be getting it and not even knowing it, and their first use could be their last. If you haven't heard yet about a new synthetic drug known on the streets as ISO, short for metanitazine or ananitazine, let this be your warning.
It is proven to be 20 times more potent than fentanyl.
For context, the opioid fentanyl is already said to be 80 to 100 times more potent than morphine, so 20 times stronger than that. The Pasco Sheriff's Office says in the fall, a pair of overdose deaths turned out to be because of ISO.
In the field, the drugs for the overdose tested as fentanyl. However, drugs are sent to the FDLE to be tested as well, and that's where it tested as ISO, which is more potent than fentanyl.
It can be absorbed through the skin, ingested, or inhaled. Even more troubling, Narcan may be less effective at saving someone experiencing an ISO overdose.
We really don't know what they're getting, unfortunately. So they could be getting something with fentanyl, they could be getting ISO, and if they get something with ISO and they don't know it, that one time might be the only time and it might be too much for them.
If you're questioning whether it's a safe or a responsible thing to do, the most obvious answer is most likely no.
Rick Burt is the president and CEO of SAD, Students Against Destructive Decisions.
Our message to young people is don't be duped. Don't fall for this trick of an industry that's trying to hurt you and trying to hurt your community, trying to hurt your friends. The simple solution is, I know it's old and cliche, but say no to that choice.
Now,
And that's some bullshit because Esau is the one behind it. The first thing I seen first thing I said to myself when I seen this video was Esau bringing that shit in.
yeah, because where would it come from? It ain't like they stumble across some plant with this, you know what I'm saying, this drug attached to it with the name on it, ISO.
Yeah, and just just some cartels, just they came up with a new drug, and now they bringing a new drug into the United States. First thing they came to it is Esau developed this in the lab, and he's putting it out there on the streets. Right. Esau's the one behind it. You know what I mean? And that's spiritual, because like the brother said, it came out of nowhere. So we was doing some research, of course. You know, the apostles, they teach us you got to go into the words and the meaning of words. So we was going into the word ISO, and we got a couple different definitions, but this one word ISO, this one definition that we got on the urban legends, this what kind of popped to us. So we was going through and we was like, it was at the bottom, wasn't it? Right there. Yeah. And this is what it says.
ISO is an acronym for isomorphic algorithm.
Alright, hold on. Let me get this back. Alright, there it go. Yeah, keep going.
ISO is an acronym for isomorphic algorithm, a life form that spontaneously emerges without planning.
Now you see the spiritual connection there? It's a life form that spontaneously emerged. Just like this drug. It just came out of nowhere and now it's killing people on first use. It says without planning? Yeah, without planning, it just comes out of nowhere without planning. And this all really just be a setup by Esau, man. Esau planned for it, but on the streets it's like, what? It's a new drug out. It's called ISO, and it's 20 times more potent than fentanyl. And that's spiritual because we've been seeing that in the real life. We've been seeing that in the world. A lot of people been dying from drug overdose. And you know, usually as women, we always say if a woman died, right, and she in the news or she on Facebook for dying, and you had to guess what she died from, a woman, 9 times out of 10 is gonna be what? A drug overdose or what? A car accident.
Or a car accident, yeah.
A car accident if it's a woman that's died. If a nigga dies, 9 times out of 10 he got shot. He got killed. You know what I mean? He got shot up or something. But most of the time when you hear about a woman dying, it's, you already know the first thing that should be on your mind, a drug overdose. Now, they've been taking fentanyl, which kills people a lot. But now a lot of people taking ISO. And on their first, second, third time taking it, they dying. And they getting the best high they ever had because it's 20 times more potent, and they don't even know that it's a whole different drug, but it just looked like fentanyl. Yep. too strong. And Esau's putting it out there to clean up the streets, man. He's putting it out there to kill our people, man. To have our people on this, and so our people could die. Because Esau's trying to depopulate so he can come with his new world order. But everybody loves his ideals. Ooh, you got the metaverse. We're going to be hooked up to it. We're going to have a chip. We're going to have paper cash. We're going to have digital coin. But nobody's thinking, guess what? You might not be included in this new world order. Everybody love is we gonna be driving electric cars. We gonna have a one world government. We gonna be able to go anywhere in the world and have a one world government. But guess what? You might not be included. You forgetting the part of depopulation. He has to depopulate before he brings in all that. It's too many people for him to bring it all into. He won't be able to control everything because it's too many people. So what he has to do is kill a lot of people. Then he's gonna come with his new world order. And if you ain't an Edomite, then you're going to be an undesirable, and you're going to be on the shit list. Even if you do make it, he's going to make you a slave. And him and his people are going to be the ruling class. That's what people not understand. It says ISO is now turning up in overdoses and substance abuse cases. And this is probably all over the United States right now. This is probably being transported over the United States as we speak. You know what I mean? You got something on it?
No, I got nothing. I got, I mean, I'm ready to,
Let me see. Let me check that out. Psalms 2, let me see, straight to the point. Oh, 2 Corinthians, yeah, bring that one up. Yep.
Right. Whenever you ready,
yep, 2 Corinthians.
2 Corinthians 2, verse 11. Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices.
Right, and that's the first thing. You got more on that?
Nope.
Yeah, just that verse. That's the first thing we said. Soon as we seen this and we seen this little video, first thing we said, oh yeah, Esau behind this. Esau bringing this shit in.
Yeah, because it just really don't make sense because it's already formed in capsules. You know, the sheriffs already know what the name is called.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? They already, I mean, like, it was introduced. It was made in the lab by Esau, and then it was introduced to the government, right? And then the government introduced it. You know, it just went. It was like a domino effect, and now it's finally made it to the people, and it's killing.
The government's putting it on the streets.
Exactly.
You know, they got you got people that's work a part of the government that's a part of cartels. So they going back to, look, I got this new drug, got this. The government got dealers that they work with that's on the street. And these dealers, look, you got a new drug, man. It's this gets people hooked right away. First hit, first time. You gonna make the most money you ever made. And then they put it out there on the streets. They might put it out there in Chicago. They put it out there in New York. They put it out there in Florida. And then little by little, everybody start, man, I need that ISO. Where that ISO at? Then you got drug dealers. Man, I'm trying to buy some of that ISO because, you know, they loving the ISO out there. We just seen it in Power, the one Force with Tommy. They got a new drug on there that they introduced called Dahlia. So they was selling the, you know, the coke, they was selling all that, but now they got a new something called Dahlia. And every time somebody hit the Dahlia on that show, if you go watch it, Power, it's called Force. With Tommy, the guy Tommy, every time somebody hit that, they eyes just light up and they start laughing. And that everybody in the streets, and you know it's based out of Chicago, everybody in the streets, they want this new drug called Dahlia. That's exactly what this sounds like.
Right.
But it's called ISO. And we just gave you the definition of it on Urban Dictionary, one of the definitions of it. It's spontaneously formed without plan. So it's just some random drugs popping up. Now everybody gonna start wanting it.
Yeah, because we know the natural drugs of the earth.
Yep.
You know, you know, we got heroin,
coke.
You know, coke and marijuana.
Leaves. Yep.
You know, those drugs you can actually connect them to actual herb like plants.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So anything outside of the ones that we know about, you know what I'm saying, that's actual natural drugs to the earth, they're man-made.
Yeah, designer drugs.
They're designer drugs.
They making these things in a lab, man. And Esau's behind it. And he's putting it out there to kill. Now everybody's going to be looking for this ISO, man. That ISO, man. Where that ISO at, man? I heard you got that ISO. You know what I mean? Because they wanted to get the biggest high they could ever get, you know? And then they always chasing that first high. I mean, speak on it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it's all synthetic when you think about it because it's not natural. You know, and that and the synthetic drugs that's made to mimic the natural drugs is always the ones that kill you.
Yep.
So you got natural drug, you know, just as like marijuana, weed, right? You got weed, right? Now, you never heard of weed killing nobody, but then they come out with, you know, the synthetic weed called K2, and then people start getting hooked on K2 because it's actually getting them a little higher than natural weed, but it's killing them. You know what I mean? So that just lets you know right there that it's all planned. And you know, these spontaneous drugs that be submerging out of nowhere, they be created in a lab.
Yeah, because just like with the K2, where did that come from? Just somebody made it up on the street and put something together and K2 became popular? No, Esau tried it with the K2. But the K2 didn't work because people start shitting on it. They ain't on no motherfucking K2. You know what I mean? So now Esau's always constantly trying to put shit out there that's going to destroy your people, man. During the 80s and shit, that was all Esau bringing, and he allowing the cartels and these different gangs to bring the drugs in. The guns that's on the street, the shit that you see going on with Chicago right now, that's Esau behind that, man. Matter of fact, we finna go in on Esau. Let's get Psalms 10 to start at verse 5. We just run that out last video, but we gonna start at verse 5 this one.
Psalms 10 verse 5. His ways are always grievous. Thy judgments are far above out of his sight.
Oh, that's spiritual. Because when you get caught selling this shit, ISO, and they know everybody dying, they gonna give you football numbers. They gonna give you grievous numbers in there. But in reality, they the ones that's allowing it into the states, that's bringing it and making it and creating it. Keep going. That's grievous judgment.
As for all his enemies, he puffeth at them.
Yep.
Verse 6, he has said in his heart, I shall not be moved, for I shall never be in adversity.
And Esau's putting this out here because who's his enemies? The poor. Who's the meek and the poorest of the earth? The Israelites. So he's putting this out here to destroy us. So he won't be moved, so he can stay in power. Keep going.
Verse 7, his mouth is full of cursing and deceit and fraud. Under his tongue is mischief and vanity.
So what is that? That's fraud. That's mischief and vanity. He's really behind it. But he acting like he don't know how the hell ISO got out there. And if you deal ISO, then the police are going to take you to jail for it. But it's them, it's they people, the Edomites that's bringing it in, that's creating it.
Yeah, you get caught with it. And then you got to go in front of the judge. You know what I'm saying? Something that you might have just sold to somebody, done killed somebody. And they act like you is the real criminal behind the whole, situation. But really, that person would have never got his hands on it if they would have created it.
If they wouldn't created it. And now you got a drug-induced homicide, which is a very serious case, man. Shit's crazy. Keep going.
Verse 8. He sitteth in his lurking places of the villages. In the secret places doth he murder the innocent. His eyes are privily set against the poor.
And who's the poor and where do they live at? We call it today ghettos. The villages, the ghettos. And where are the most police at? They right there in the hood, right around the hood, just messing with you. Can't wait for you to pull the car out so they can pull it over and find drugs in it.
The places that's stricken with poverty.
Yep. And what did it say? It says he lurketh. He lurking. He not just there to protect and serve. He's there like a bounty hunter. He's looking for the local drug dealers that they know, that they see, pull you over, search your car for weapons and guns and drugs. He's setting you up. And sometimes you ain't even gotta have drugs on you. He plant the drugs on you.
Exactly.
And it's telling you that right here in the Bible. Keep going.
Yeah, I just want to start back off right here where it says, in the secret places doth he murder the innocent. It's countless. I mean, I know we on the topic of the video, but I just got to throw that in there because that kind of hit me because we see that going on a lot. But yeah, I'm gonna keep going.
I mean, but he get to murder the innocent on a boatload on the masses by putting the drugs out there that's gonna kill him. Exactly. What did it say? It says it's 20 times more potent than fentanyl. Off one dose, people are dying. Your first time ever doing this, and you don't even know that it's ISO. You think it's fentanyl, and you die.
Yep, that's it too. It's intolerable for your body.
And Esau's the one behind it. So that's how he's murdering the innocent. Keep going.
His eyes are privily set against the poor. Verse 9. He lieth in wait secretly as a lion in his den. He lieth in wait to catch the poor. So
what is that? That's traps. He sets traps up for you. You know what I mean? You might not even be in the game. You might get in something, but the whole time Esau was setting you up. And what's one of the biggest traps we know? The war on drugs. He puts the drugs out there. Niggas get it because we're poor. It keeps saying the poor, right? Because we're in poverty, so we get these drugs and we try to sell them so we can make money and get out of that poverty. But the whole time it's a trap. And Esau's waiting for you to get in the game. You sell it, he catches you, put you in jail, turn you back to a slave.
Exactly, because who make up the majority of the poor of the country?
The Israelites.
Yep. Exactly.
Negroes, Native Americans, and Latinos.
He doth catch the poor when he draweth him into his net.
That's a trap.
Verse 10. He croucheth and humbleth himself, that the poor may fall by his strong ones.
Yeah, and he's deceiving you. Because what did this dude on this thing say? Just say no to drugs. Y'all the motherfuckers that's creating them. Why don't y'all say no to drugs? So he deceives you and act like, oh, he's, oh my God, them drug dealers are so horrible. How could they sell things like this that's killing people? Yeah. But your people is creating it.
Drug dealers should be killed, and drug dealers should be this. But what about the creators of the drugs?
Yeah. So when they give you 20 years, 30, 40 years and act like you just such a bad guy, they act like they helping the community and they helping the world by getting rid of you. But they don't want to create it. But
that's what goes back into, he doth catch the poor when he draweth him into his net.
It's a trap. Yep. Keep going on that.
Verse 11. He hath said in his heart, Most High hath forgotten. He hideth his face, he will never see it.
Yeah, because they think all the iniquity and shit they did, taking the Negroes and slavery, committing genocide versus the Native Americans and Latinos, they think they ain't gonna get judged from that. Read Jeremiah 49. It breaks down that they gonna drink from that same cup that they think that they not. Read what's that, Lamentations 4. It goes into how they gonna have to go through that punishment, that judgment, even though they think that they not. They think that they gonna get away free. Yeah, we took this country and we always gonna run this country as America. Yeah, we took the Negroes in slavery, but they gonna get over it. The Lord ain't gonna come back and do nothing for them, but the Lord is. And he's waking up his man, the prophets, to go out there and prophesy of his return when he is gonna come back and do it. Keep going.
Verse 12. Arise, O Lord, O God, lift up thine hand. Forget not the humble. Verse 13. Wherefore doth the wicked contemn the Most High?
And this is the prayers that we putting up. We're praying. This is a prayer. We're praying like, look, man, this is what they doing. They setting up traps. They constantly persecuting our people. Lord, come get them. Come do this. This is what we praying. Keep going.
He hath said in his heart, thou wilt not require it. Thou hast seen it. For thou beholdest mischief and spite. To require it with thy hand, the poor committeth himself unto thee. Thou art the helper of the fatherless. Verse 15. Break thou the arm of the wicked, and the evil man seek out his wickedness till thou found none.
His power. And that's what we praying to the Lord. Look, break his power, break his arm, break his strength. Take that power away from him, Lord. Keep going.
The Lord is king forever and ever. The heathen are perished out of his land.
And who do we give our praises to? Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. He's king forever and ever. The heathen gonna perish, and they in our land right now. They gonna be taken out of that land. So how is salvation for all nations? Didn't it say the heathen should perish?
Yep.
The heathen is any other nation than the Israelite. That's the Lord considered them all heathens. So the salvation is only for the Israelites. Keep going.
Verse 17. Lord, thou hast heard the desire of the humble. Thou wilt prepare their heart. Thou wilt cause thine ear to hear. Verse 18. To judge the fatherless and the oppressed, that the man of the earth may no more oppress.
Yep. And the man that's on earth that's oppressing, it's the man that's in rulership. 2nd Esdras 6, starting at verse 9, tells you that that's Esau, Edom. And Malachi 1 tells you that he's the wicked of the earth. And that's who's oppressing us, And those are the prayers that we pray in Psalm chapter 10. Beautiful chapter. It breaks down all the things that's really going on and what we praying to happen. You know what I mean? So we're going to leave it there. Look out for this, ISO. This could be coming really big. This could be a really big thing. You might start seeing it on the news, and there might be a war against ISO, and all the dealers of ISO, which is going to be Jake and them. And it's really all just a setup like we just got done reading. So with that, we're going to say salvation to the elect. Shalom.
Shalom.